to have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe-to-toe with me on that?
You've like, what are we doing here?
Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, good evening. Welcome back to the Spurs 5. There's only 3 of us right now. Lubo is going to be joining shortly. We don't know about Stel, missing in Greece, on holiday in Greece, but we have not heard from him. So hopefully he's all good. As Millwall put a free kick into the top bins. Good goal from Mill. Welcome back to the Spurs 5. Spurs have beaten, no, we haven't. That's a complete lie. Spurs have got a point at the Amex. We've got Doncaster up next, followed by Wolves at home in a really annoying 8 p.m. on a Saturday night kickoff. It's not the time to be playing games of football. We're going to talk about all of that. We're also going to be talking about Don Paratici being a naughty, naughty boy. And what does that mean for Tottenham Hotspur? And for anyone who saw earlier, we will be getting Sean to read out more articles about Daniel Levy and Tottenham Hotspur and rain, because he's got a lovely voice, according to my wife. Anyway, I digress. Johnny, Sean, how are we, lads? Is everyone all right? Is everyone good?
I'm all good. I'm a bit worried about Stel. I mean, we have been giving Marinakis a bit of a hard time. If anyone has seen Stel or can report, if he could let us know, because Marinakis, for all we know, could be holding him right now as we speak.
Johnny, let's be entirely honest here. Stel's absence is nothing to do with Marinakis. It's because Tottenham are doing well. When Tottenham are doing okay, Stel goes AWOL. When Tottenham are doing bad, and by the way, his public enemy number one, Daniel Levy, has left the room. It's difficult to have an opinion if your entire shape-shifting
is doing well.
It has been about Daniel Levy for the last 4 years. That guy's gone, and so is Stel. It's interesting. Have you ever seen Stel and Levy in the same room? Just quietly, just asking that question.
Now's the Spider-Man meme. It's the Spider-Man gif again, isn't it? You. Let's be fair. And I hope Stel sees this. Hope you're well, Stel. If Marinakis got hold of Stel, I think we'd have a kind of Morgan Gibbs White hostage style video with Stel putting on a Forest shirt and changing allegiance so that he could follow Ange again. I think that would be good fun. Anyone asking where he is? I don't know. He's in Greece. We know that much. He's in a lovely part of Greece.
When he comes back, Sav, I was going to say, when he finally comes back, he's had a transformation. Yes, Mr. Marinakis, I love Daniel Levy.
I reckon he's going to come back with a full head of hair and turkey teeth. I reckon he's gone out there for the full transformation, mate. I do. Anyway, big up to you guys. Listen, it's let's start with the Paratici thing, because it does involve us, and it also doesn't, depending on what you think. We saw the news a couple of hours ago that he's been a suspended sentence for 18 months for all of the shenanigans, should we say, at Juve. We saw last week that a deal to bring him back was probably more likely to happen when Levy was here, but now he's not. It's less likely to happen. And now they're saying they don't know if the suspended sentence or not will allow him to work in the Premier League. Johnny, where are we at with this whole Paratici thing, and how much does that affect Tottenham and the plans for the club moving forward? And you frauds in the chat, you frauds, less than 60 likes, nearly 500 of you in here. Can we please get that up immediately? Thank you very much. Sorry, Johnny.
Listen, I'm absolutely gutted. I'll be honest with you. I need to climb on bridges and get some white paint and say Don Fabio is innocent. Look, I was praying that he was going to come back, because I just don't think Johan Lang is the man. I really don't. I don't think his talent ID is anywhere near what Fabio's is. He knows a player. You might not like how he does business. You might not like how, he's so sort of visual and vocal, whereas Lang just blends into a bit of Magnolia wallpaper. But for me, there are levels. And the fact that you've been at Juventus for 10 years, yes, he's been fined, but he's won awards, he's been lauded. And as Levy said, he's always admired him from a distance. You don't stay at Juventus for 10 years, bringing through youth players, buying players, selling players, and doing all that he's done without being top of your game. And no disrespect, but Johan Lang was demoted at Aston Villa, right? And if he's not good enough for Aston Villa, why should he be good enough to be leading Tottenham? Now, the problem we got here is that he's very close friends with Thomas Frank, and there may lie the problem. I've got no problem if Johan Lang wants to stay, but under the auspice of someone with a higher ranking and a higher being. And, if it isn't going to be Don Fabio, then it has to be Campos or someone of that level. I'm not interested in also Rans. I need someone.
Paul Mitchell?
Pardon?
Would you take Paul Mitchell back now that Levy's gone?
Yeah, listen, I just think there are levels, and, it's not just about, working quietly in the market. It's identifying top talent. And I'm sorry, when I look at the £55 million spent on Odegaard and Tell, two players that can both simultaneously do the same thing, neither of them at the present time showing anywhere near the spend, I'm not going to jump up. Archie Gray, good player. Was that the 40 million? Did 40 million need to be spent at the time where he was in his career? I'm not so sure, although I do think he's going to be a good player. I'm just not sold, Sava, and it does worry me, because let's be honest, these last two deals that we did for Kolo Muani and Xavi Simons were both opportunist get out of jail last minute.coms because they didn't have them elsewhere. And if those two deals hadn't have happened, it would have been a disastrous window. As it is, it's a good window. But as you've said, and we've all discussed, it's a glaringly obvious every time we take to the field right now that the left side is just not happening. And that's down on recruitment.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean, where are you with this? I mean, listen, I think Johnny makes a great point. If Lang is not up to the mark, I don't want another Lang to come in, if you will. I don't want to hitch in. It needs to be somebody that's a big player on the global stage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I hope that when Thomas Frank says things like, if I can't get my guy, I'd rather wait, I hope that extends into areas of the club that maybe beyond his pay grade, which I think probably, I would imagine that Vinay would say that's his decision and that he doesn't need help with. But I think that the manager has to be a part of that. And look, I think that Thomas Frank and Johan Lang obviously have a little bit of history. they sort of know each other from their heritage. But we also heard very clearly from Thomas Frank when he was on we saw the clips of it, or the sort of text commentary in the Athletic article, that Thomas Frank basically alluded to the idea that what he was given when he walked in and was offered X, Y, and Z players, he essentially said, in fact, he did say, I'm not even paraphrasing, he said, I'm not going to say that Brentford's model was better, but it was very, very good, which is his polite way of saying it was better, Yeah. And so for me, yeah, look, Paratici, I don't think Paratici will come back. I think the Paratici's connection to Tottenham was with Daniel Levy. I said it when Daniel Levy left. When Daniel Levy left, I said, that's it. Forget about Paratici. Also, Vinay wants to come in. Said this 1,000 times as well. I know everyone else has always said the same thing as well, so I'm not claiming credit this one. But everyone says that basically when a new guy comes into a director role, like a CEO spot, the first thing you want to do is stamp your mark, have your brand, have your your guys in play. He's already done that. He's brought in the chief marketing officer, I think it was, that was ex-Arsenal. He's brought in some lady from somewhere else. I forget the English football team. I forget where she came from.
Ex-Nike, wasn't he, Sean?
Not
The first guy. There was ex-Nike. 15 years at Nike, I believe.
Yeah. That guy, and there was a guy from Arsenal, which I think he was marketing officer. Oh no, sorry, maybe the marketing officer was the lady. I forget. But either way, whatever, right? So a marketing woman.
Oh,
sorry, I've dropped that for a second. Catalina Kim from Korea. I think she's involved in the club now on some sort of commercial property level thing. All of those things to me are little demonstrations, little breadcrumbs, little pick-me-ups of Vinay wanting his stamp. So I never thought for a second that Paratici would. Once I saw Levy leaving, I thought once that's gone, I thought the Paratici's gone as well. This suspended sentence, you can't bring back a guy that's one mistake away from spending 18 months in prison. You can't do that if you're trying to wipe the slate clean. As much as I rate him as a footballing director, I don't think that he's going to be the guy that's here. And as far as Johan Lang, I think that Thomas Frank has basically said, like I said in the first part of the answer, he's already called him out for basically being not on the same page, not on the same wavelength of what Thomas Frank wants. Now, whether Thomas Frank is willing to give him, the benefit of the doubt and say, stay and we'll teach you on what we want. He has brought with him most of the people that were at Brentford that were responsible for finding those gems. But yeah, I'm with Johnny. If you're going to go somewhere new, bring in a big gun. Campos will be unbelievable. He's the number one in the game. But it doesn't have to be him. I'm sure there's other people out there. I don't know who the Brugger guy is, but he's very, very talented. There's people out there that are probably that we don't know about, that are probably unsung heroes. Go and get that guy. Go and get the guy, whoever it is that they want, and let's do this the right way. Because for the most part, Daniel Levy has hired a lot of people with decent resumes, but for the most part, over the last 15 years, he had the right guy in Frank Arneson, and then ever since then, there's been a hit, then a miss, 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 and so. He's gone. Maybe there's some clean slates where we can go and approach certain players, certain people, and bring them back and see what happens.
Sean, it needs someone with that black book, right? It needs someone, and I think that's the thing. Without praising Arsenal, they brought in Berta, who has been doing this for years at a high level. He's been at Atletico, working with the best clubs in the world. He's got a black book of names. Clearly, can make things happen. We need someone like that. And again, I people are talking about Rangnick, people talking about, who is, by the way, a much better director of football than he is a manager, by the way. I mean, I would love, I can never say this guy's name. It's just too difficult. Bergenstein, is it? There's people out there, but for me, I do think we need to move away from the Paratici thing now. I think he did some good things. I think he did some bad things. But I feel like now there's a lot of noise around it. And I think Spurs are trying to move away from that, aren't they? We're trying to move away to a really professional approach. Do you see, Johnny, though, that there might be a world in which we do just continue with Johan Lang? Because he is the only one, if I'm not wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. I think he's the only one from last season that's still here. From coaching staff to manager to... like Levy and Donna Cullen have gone. He's the one, right? He's survived. So
he's wallpaper. He's magnolia wallpaper. He just blends into the background. He's non-offensive. You wouldn't even notice him if he was in the room. And look, I'm not going to make any bones about it, right? If we want to be the best, why would we accept a guy that was demoted by Aston Villa? I'm sorry, I'm not having it, right? Aston Villa got themselves a good director of football, and, they moved him out of the way. And we thought, same old Spurs, we'll pick him up. He's going free. We can pick him up cheap, and we'll install him. Now, he was never meant to be the main guy because they intended on bringing Fabio back, and now Fabio's not coming back. The problem I worry about is the fact that his long-standing friendship with Thomas Frank, which goes back to his early days in Denmark when he was, in sort of youth football in no man's land. That's how far they go back. And, you know, he's not going to throw Johan Lang under a bus. What I'm hoping for is that Vinay turns around and says, you know what, guys, you know, Johan can stay here, but we need someone big and overseas. Look, ultimately, as Sean was saying before, with all these people coming in, I truly believe they're just dressing this all up for a sale. They can tell me whatever they like. They can say whatever they like. Yeah. Daniel's been removed. Daniel was the cock block as far as...
First name terms, Johnny.
He was
first name terms with our leader, our saviour, Sir Daniel Levy of North London.
No, but I'm saying he's the cock block in the sense that, look...
And the greatest cock block we've ever had, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, listen, look, the thing is, it was a cock block in the sense of the fact that when you've been with Rothschilds for 2 years, and people are going into the building, and it keeps falling at the final hurdle. It's no surprise he sends in his guy to have a look, and then determines that one guy might be the cock block. I'm not going to turn around and say that what all that Daniel's done is shit, because it isn't, right? But I believe truly that they are dressing this whole board up now from top to bottom, from the people that Sean just mentioned, the guy that was at Nike for 15 years, and Spurs have signed the worst Nike deal, the worst kit deal in bloody memory that goes on to 2030. We're already 30 million a year behind everybody else already. And we got another, God knows how many years to run on it. Look, I think the fact of the matter is,
Adam Gardner. That's it.
If we're gonna carry on, we've appointed all these people, top people for this, top people for that. Vinay comes in, Charrington comes in. Surely we have to match that up with a top director of football. And right now, Johan Lang does not fit the remit.
Who makes that decision, Johnny? Who makes that decision?
It's him now. It's Vinay.
Yeah. So my question here is, and again, I'm not going to pretend I know the ins and outs. Yeah. When they brought in Berta, he had left, right?
Yeah.
So has Vinay? Do we know that has he got the contacts in the world of football?
Yeah, of course he has. He brought in Edu.
Oh, let's go and get Edu then from Forest.
No, but I mean, he's not going to go. But what I'm saying is, Edu is a very, very good director of football, right? It's as simple as that. You might not rate him, but he is very highly rated. He's done a very good job at Nottingham Forest. We know what a shit show it was when they didn't have him, and now he's come in, and now he's the director of football for there, and he's also working for Olympiacos. Oh. And they made some very astute good signings. Nottingham Forest in the last window, I believe, and. It's not just signing 80 million, 70 million pound players. For me, it's about signing those players and unearthing gems, quality players. And he's also got fantastic contacts in Brazil. And when you look at someone like Igor Jesus, who I really think is a real talent up front, they signed from Botafogo. And Cunha, the centre-back, again, another talent. We don't really have that. We're not really geared up for that. So... yeah, we need to up our game. If the Don's not coming back, Lang isn't the man for me.
Well, look, let me bring Lubo in just quickly before we do. Two things quickly, guys. We are giving away a quality replica shirt from our sponsors, okjersey.com. You just need to type in OKJersey, hashtag OKJersey. Unlike Sean, make sure you spell the word OK correctly. OKJersey.
Okay.
You got it right on your second attempt. And if Sean wins it, he will donate it to someone in the chat. I'm sure he will, because he'll get his own free one. Please, hashtag OKJersey. I'll put it in the chat right now so that you can see exactly how it works. If not, if you don't spell it right, you won't be eligible, and we'll do that draw at the end of the show. Also, for anyone that cares, Lamine Yamal has just won the best young player in the world for the Copa Ballon d'Or. And Serena Weigmann has won the award for the best women's coach. So Serena Weigmann's won that, and the men's top 10 will be announced very soon. I'm fully expecting Ousmane Dembele to be the winner, although I'd like it to be Yamal. Lubo, good evening. How are you?
All good. Everybody well?
All good.
Everybody is fine. We're worried about
Happy birthday to your daughter.
Yeah, send them my love.
Thank you. I will do. I have done, Sean. I have done.
Yeah. Did she send it back though?
She laughed.
Hello to Daddy.
Sean's used to getting rejected. Helga rejected him as well out in Norway, so it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Lubo, you've seen the news tonight about old Don Paratici getting an 18-month suspended sentence. We're talking about, do we move on from him now and go and get, Johnny wants someone of real quality to come into the club. Where are you at on the director of football front?
Well, Paul Mitchell didn't do a bad job last time, did he?
Is he available?
He is available.
Yeah, he left Newcastle and he quit Newcastle.
He didn't get on with Eddie Howe.
Everyone last 5 minutes in Newcastle. They've had 3, haven't they?
Yeah, but Eddie Howe has a history of falling out with his directors of football. Everyone thinks Eddie Howe, like the sun shines out of his arse, and maybe it does tactically, but he does have problems with his relationships with the transfer guy.
Yeah, just sort of going back, just touching on what I walked into. I fully agree with Johnny. I do think that ENIC are getting ready for a sale. And I think within 12 months, I can see Spurs being sold. Definitely.
Within 12 months?
I think in the next 12 months.
Love that. We finally got something objective that we can hold Lubo accountable for. Brilliant.
12 months.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere, please make a note that Lubo said within 12 months we're going to get an actual
I said they were going to be sold, so
I'll clip it. Yeah, but what we want, the problem we have, Johnny, with Lubo is Lubo says things, but we never actually have time frames or accountability. And now we've got one. 12 months to sell it. If not, you have to say that Daniel Levy was the greatest chairman of ever of the Premier League era.
I think that's going a little bit too far there. So,
by the way, for anyone that cares, Luis Enrique has just won the best male coach award at the Ballon d'Or. For anyone
wasn't he the manager that evidently didn't interview well with our great chairman?
Touche, Lubo.
Allegedly. According to Jeff.
Jeff.
How is Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeff's good. I had a nice chat with Jeff at half time at Brighton. He doesn't normally go to away games, but he went with his son and his grandson and thoroughly enjoyed
Big up Jeff's son. Big up Jeff's grandson. How are you guys?
So
big up Jeff. Harry Kane's coming back with. Here you go. Here's a question for Lubo before we move on. If I said to you, Harry Kane's coming back, but it means Daniel Levy's also coming back for the amount of time Kane is, would you take it?
No.
Okay, all right. Just seeing what you love or hate more. Just checking. All right, okay. What if I chucked in Yamal in there as well? Kane and Yamal, but you've got to have Levy back.
No.
I'll take any chairman.
This is where you expose yourself.
No, we wouldn't win anything, would we? We wouldn't win anything.
What, with Kane in your mouth?
We won something 6 months ago.
Sean,
the greatest chairman we've ever had.
Sean, I think let
the greatest chairman we've ever had won us the best trophy we won in 45 years. You forget that.
I love it. I love it so much. He's gone, but he'll never be forgotten. But yeah, we do. Listen, yeah, Paul Mitchell. I'll be honest. I'd quite like someone like a Ralph Rangnick as well. I think that's a proper football guy with lots of connections and lots of experience. But it'll be interesting to see, because if we don't get someone in soon, then that means we go into the January window, which is what everyone's pinning their hopes on, right? Everyone said that's the window, the left winger, the whatever. We're going into that with Johan Lang again, identifying targets. So it needs to happen soon if it's going to happen, right, guys?
But if Lang is aligned with what Frank wants, then for me, we're going in the right direction, aren't we?
Yeah, hang on a second. He might look. look, someone I might turn around to someone I know and say, "This is what I want," but he might not be the best person to go and get what I want because he's not a master negotiator, or he's not in for the haggle, or he gets overrun and trodden on. Because let's be honest, Luke, if it hadn't have been for 2 pieces of opportunity last minute, like we said before, with Simmons and Mawani, we'd be up shit's creek without a paddle right now. And, you know, we would be having a very different conversation about Johan Lang right this very second. You know, what was it he didn't read the room about with Eze? Or what did he not read the room about with Morgan Gibbs-White? I don't know. But, well, you know...
Johnny, I don't think Gibbs-White was particularly our fault. I think that was...
Well, it was because we didn't go about it.
No, but the release clause was leaked, and that was leaked to Spurs. And I think where Spurs probably went wrong was offering exactly the same amount as the release clause.
No, what we did was we spoke to the player before we worked out about the release clause. What you do is you approach the club and ask for permission to speak to them, and we're going to trigger a clause rather than say we've reached agreement. And then
what happens if Marinakis says no when you first reach out?
Exactly. Then it's the end of the conversation and you don't waste any embarrassment.
Why should it be the end of the conversation if there's a release clause?
Well, listen.
We definitely fucked up with the way we went about it. But
that's all I'm saying. We fucked up.
Forest, there was a clause in there that was willing, like, if we'd figured out a way to do it, 100% that clause was contractually obliging.
There's all sub-clauses, Sean, though, on these contracts. There's clauses and there's sub-clauses. So there is a clause, I've seen them before on other contracts, where you got a trigger clause, and then that clause can be triggered if A and B are met. So it's not just a case of black and white, we've reached that number, therefore we can do the deal. We don't know what all the sub-clauses were.
We don't know anything, though, do we? We're all speculating. No. We don't know anything about it. So
we do know that, Sean, your chairman did negotiate on the Eze thing. That has been widely reported. Don't believe that's subjective. I believe that to be fact. And
so on that basis, then my chairman was also responsible for the entire summer's window, which was the best summer's window we've ever had in the last 25 years. And so therefore, when Lubo, you're generally happy when we sign players like Archie Gray, you shouldn't be that happy that we ended up with the best trophy, the guy who's responsible for the best window we've ever had has suddenly gone. But you are, because you're blinded by your hatred for the best chairman we've ever had.
Sean, I was told that then I was in charge of transfers this summer.
Oh, were you? Funny that.
Levy got busy with Eze.
Oh, did he? That's convenient. That's convenient. Your sources that always seem to happen to have the same shade of hatred towards our chairman as you.
Sean,
that's convenient, Lubo.
Sean, the whole world doesn't see things.
Always Levy. Yeah, I know how it works.
The whole world doesn't see things through your eyes as well. So
I don't see things. I see you through the lens in which you present. The lens in which you present is one that has never given any credit to the best chairman we've ever had, and all the mistakes are at his feet.
Sean, commercially, I'll give him credit. Give him a lot of credit commercially. Football-wise,
you just said that he was responsible for Eze, so by that logic, he was also responsible for all of the other things that were happening, correct? Because the buck always stops at the top.
I mean, had the Eze deal gone through, then I would have congratulated Levy on putting the Eze deal on.
No, you wouldn't.
I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form.
Through gritted teeth, but I would have done.
I reckon.
Lubo, you couldn't even give Daniel Levy credit for lifting the Europa League trophy, of which he was 100% the chairman for.
We got lucky.
Right.
You know what?
You couldn't give him credit. Don't start this.
We got lucky, Sean.
I can imagine, Sean.
Here we go. There you go.
Levy could turn up at Lubo's house.
This is the madness in which the polarized operate through, mate. It's like a political lens. It's ridiculous.
Sean, I think Levy could turn up at Lubo's house with 4 checks, one for him, one for his wife, one for his 2 kids. It's all 100 million each, and he still wouldn't want to give him credit for it. He still wouldn't. Really, nothing. absolutely nothing. Anyway,
Right,
moving.
just super quick. You see DB, who I actually love DB, right? You see how he's got a thing there saying, "Stop whining, Sean. Yesterday's news, Levy who?" These are the same people that wouldn't stop talking about Daniel Levy for every single week, every single second, every single stream, every single video for as long as I've been on YouTube. It was non-stop. Doesn't matter what the story was, it came back to Levy. The second that Levy's gone, I'm not finished my sentence yet. The second he's gone, they expect everybody else to just suddenly move on. I'm not moving on like you wouldn't move on, DB. I'm not going to sit here and allow Lubo sit there and make out like Daniel Levy's responsible.
Forget what I'm saying.
I've still not finished my sentence, but
Write it down, Lubo. Write it down.
I don't have to. Terry O'Shea's comments are up there. 8:38. Terry O'Shea. Sad. Can you put them up, please? There you go, Sean. Here we
go, Lubo. Don't argue. It took his chairman 25 years to have a summer where we signed 2 decent permanent signings and 2 decent loans. Well done. 25 years to get a 7 out of 10 maximum summer.
Thank you, Terry.
Wow. Yeah. There you go.
Well, so with those 25 years, you absolute bozo, Terry.
With that in mind, I'm just going to ask one last question to finish off. Lubo, if in the next couple of windows we don't sign top players and nothing changes, will you go on and say, well, clearly it wasn't Levy then, it was Enoch? And if we do sign 2 top players, can't we then also say, well, Enoch have changed their MO?
I did say last week that I think it was Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy.
I think it's both of them in cahoots.
Both of them. I say now both of them. If it doesn't change, then we're not surprised. If it has changed, then that's the influence of Vivian and Charlie coming through.
Oh, stop. Fuck off. Am I having this bollocks? What are we doing here? You're giving credit to me. Lipstick. I can't even like this. Are we doing this? Are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? You are shameless to the end.
Sure. I'm asking a question.
What are we doing?
I was asked a question and I gave an answer.
Forward blind. Hang on.
I genuinely think that Levy's not totally to blame for the 25 years. I think Joe Lewis obviously has to take half the blame as well.
What do you mean blame? What do you mean blame?
The lack of ambition.
Oh, shut up. What do you mean?
You won't have it.
Blame. We got to a Champions League final.
And we're back.
We got to 8 finals. We're in Champions League football or Europa League football 15 of the last 17 years. What do you mean blame? Who is it to congratulate? That should be the phrasing. What are you talking about, Lubo?
Sean,
I'll tell you what, I'm going to get in a time machine and go to 2036, right? 2036, 11 years after he's gone. And I'm going to come on the Spurs 5, and the first fucking thing that's going to be spoken about is going to be Daniel fucking Levy.
Johnny, 2036 was only 6 minutes ago, if we're going by time. Can I just ask, let me ask a question. It's not about Levy. So if we are saying that it's all being geared up for a sale, that's one thing. If it's not, are we saying that we're expecting Charrington to just stay in there as non-exec chairman, or do we think somebody else will be implemented?
Until he's sold. Until it's sold, he will be there overseeing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And Vinay is a very capable CEO, right? All those who think he's some make-weight or also ran just don't understand, his history, his links, his connections. His black book is as impressive as Charrington's, but in a different sphere. He's got football connections. He's got private equity connections. And between the two of them, plus the heavyweights that have been brought onto the board, the Korean girl and the guy who's PR, whatever, who worked with Nike for 15 years. He's got a fantastic...
Gary's... Gary? Is it Gary?
I can't remember.
If I keep saying the name Gary, is that going to make it Gary?
No. Call him Brian.
Brian. What was his name? Something.
Who was it you're trying to remember?
The new marketing CMO, the CMO, the chief marketing officer.
Adam Gardner.
Adam
Gardner.
Gary.
Not Gary.
It wasn't Gary. Adam Gardner. Right? He doesn't do any gardening, but he used to work for Nike.
Gary Gardner.
He used to work for Nike. What I'm saying is these are all, like heavyweights, and I expect the ball to remain that until we are sold. Because let's be honest, I don't think there was enough credibility on the board for outside investment. Now there is. Now there is. So,
I mean, can you imagine being in that room when Vinay and Charrington are sitting around talking about potential investors and who to sell to and all that kind of stuff, both getting out their little black book of who's who of a billionaires in the world.
A real who's who. And not just that, he was involved in bringing the Emirates deal, the Adidas deal, right? So, don't think for 1 minute that this guy is a nobody. He's a proper guy. And second of all, he was instrumental in the advancement and the development of the women's football team. And quite honestly, our women's football team is just going round in circles or going down. I think, what did they get? Beaten 5-1, was it, on the weekend again? They got some new manager in. He's not really exactly set the world in motion.
They won the first two. Spurs, the ladies' team.
West Ham, mate. It's like
and Everton.
And
Everton. Listen, everyone beats West Ham. That's
exactly.
Even the women.
Look, let's move on from this topic. As the judge and adjudicator, I'll give that Levy debate to Lubo. I'll let Lubo win it this time, just because it will frustrate Sean. Lubo is the winner of the Levy debate, and Gary is not.
You will absolutely not. You will absolutely not.
He's starting him off again now.
What are we doing here?
I'm joking. We're moving on. I'm joking. I'm absolutely joking. Oh, Gary, bloody Gary. Where did I get that from? Guys, let's so we'll leave the Don Paratici stuff there. Look, let's look forward, shall we, to Doncaster. I'll start with this question. Anyone can take it. A banana skin, an opportunity for other fans, rival fans, to shout Spursy and Dr. Tottenham and stuff, or is this just going to be a straightforward professional? Knock them out. We're all good.
I think it depends how you balance the team out. I was talking about this to Sean earlier on the phone today. You go Mattis Tell up front. You go Johnson on one side, Odebear on the other. You got Archie Gray. You better get down there early. Better see Archie warming up.
I saw a comment on here, Johnny, when I first came
on. Pardon?
I saw a comment on here as soon as I came on saying he's not playing Wednesday. Was that wind up? Is he injured or
who?
Archie.
I mean, what will we do without him if he's injured? God, I don't know how we'll survive.
Could be a banana skin then, Sav.
It's a banana skin. I said to Sean, didn't I, Sean, just now on the other channel? I said, for me, we know, listen, this is roughly what we were looking at, Sean, wasn't it, on the other channel? Purely because Gray's going to play because he's not played a lot of minutes. Sarr didn't play the other day, so I assume he will play. Johnson hasn't played. Tell will. Odebear will. And we were toying with the idea of Scarlett maybe getting a game there. And then Davies and Danso, I think, seem to be shoo-ins. And then other than that, a fullback, two of the three are going to have to play, right? Unless someone like Byfield gets a game. And the goalkeeper I've got in there is Kinski.
Or you push Ben Davies to the left back, right?
Yeah. We could. Yeah, I mean, or you could play Van der Ven for 45 minutes. And I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
I'm just spitballing. I wouldn't do that. What we were talking about was, where's the creativity? And what I said, Lubo, is your boy Gray, he needs to dominate that midfield against Doncaster. He needs to go in there in that game, and I need to see him as a man of the match, running the midfield and running the show. This is his opportunity now, Lubo.
Isn't it?
League One now. Like, I've got to see it.
Can I ask you a question? Williams Barnett.
Yeah,
Now,
we
should he be on the bench getting minutes? I think he should be on the bench.
Yeah.
This is a sort of game that Ajay or Callum Uluwesi, I wouldn't mind seeing Callum Uluwesi personally in the role of Odebear, and I would be playing Callum Uluwesi ahead of Odebear. I press Odebear onto the left-hand side, Johnson on the right, and I play Matthias Tell up front.
What's wrong with Scarlett?
Or Yves Bissouma.
Yeah, right. We talked about Yves Bissouma. I said, I think if he's fit, I think he plays because I think then what you'd probably do is put Sarr a bit higher up. But Sean and I were saying, where's the creativity? Where in that team you've got no Kudus.
In that team that you put out there, if you've got Bissouma and Archie Gray playing in the 6 and the 8 in any particular combo, and then you've got that front three of Matisse Tell in one position, Dane Scarlett, for example, Odebear and Brennan Johnson. We know Brennan Johnson likes to lynch, like he's a leech, right? He leeches off of other people's hard work. We've seen from Odebear, he might have the confidence to do it against Doncaster, but he hasn't had the confidence in Brighton. And I don't think he played badly, by the way. I said this earlier, I said it on my video as well. I personally think that Destiny Udogie doesn't have as good a game as he did if he plays with anybody else other than someone like Odebear, who's more willing to bring other people into play. It's almost like he plays as a 10 off the left wing. He's told to hug the touchline, but he doesn't have the confidence to take a man on. So when Destiny Udogie marauds forward, you've got a winger there that's willing to receive it and then wait for him to move and then play it into his path. So Udogie either got the man of the match or should have done if he didn't. That's in no small part because of Odebear's lack of selfishness. You take a Kudus and you put him on the left, you template that, copy paste on the left-hand side. Udogie doesn't get to do the things that he does. And that it's an interest, in my opinion, it's like a thought experiment around what it is that we want from wingers versus what is it we can expect from fullbacks. We look at Jed Spence, we look at like what the relationship that Pedro Porro has with Kudus, and you see that Pedro Porro can do other things. He can sit deep, give the ball to Kudus, let Kudus be selfish, and then when he gives the ball back to Pedro Porro, he's got the ability to whip the ball in from deep and offer other outlets. That doesn't exist on the left-hand side. So everyone criticising Odebear, if at the same time you are also praising Udogie, recognise that Udogie doesn't get to do what he does unless it's for the lack of selfishness of Odebear in that role. But in the specific game for Doncaster, if you're having Sarr and Bissouma playing in the 6 and the 8 or whatever you're doing, the double pivot, neither of those two are creating anything. And the front three, if it's Odebear who hasn't shown it, Johnson, who's a leech off of other people's hard work, and Matisse Tell, I don't know where you're playing him. If you're playing him in the 10 or if you're playing him off the left and you're playing Odebear in the 10, same problem. And Dane Scarlett, what's he going to feed off? To me, that is if you go in that direction with the team lineup tomorrow night or on Wednesday night, what you're going to have is 0-0 at halftime, squeaky bum time, and then you're going to have to bring on the big guns in the second half. And that's not a situation that I want to see because, unfortunately, unlike Sava, I'll be at the game and I can't benefit from the potential absolute shit show that is we lose 1-0. So I think that front four that's been presented, it offers no creativity, it offers no superstars, it offers no visibility into who it is that's going to take the ball by the horns and make something out of the game. I think you still need a winner, a first team champion in and amongst that top four to be able to take the ball by the horns and do this.
And if you've got Kolo Muani, if Kolo Muani's got over his dead leg, which is probably given to him by Cuti Romero, then I would have thought that he needs minutes. I mean, he's nowhere near match fit. And this is the ideal game to try and, give him a 45 minutes or whatever, whether it's in the second half or whatever. But listen, we need to get Zuma in the shop window and we need to give him minutes. I like Callum Uluwesi. He's captain in the under-21s.
Which one? You talk about Rio?
No, Callum. Callum Uluwesi, yeah?
The midfielder.
Olasesi.
Right.
You talk about Olasesi?
Right, whatever. Splitting hairs, mate. Right. Completely splitting hairs.
Don't
right.
challenge Johnny on accents and don't challenge Johnny on pronunciations. He's not great.
Right, okay. You knew exactly who I'm talking
I
about.
didn't. I thought you were talking about. I
Right,
thought you were
okay,
getting
you knew.
Rio's name mixed up.
Anyway, my point here is that, there's no point having a youth under 21 for a game like this against Doncaster in League One. You can't be playing loads of kids, but I think you need to have someone like Callum and Barnett on the bench and getting some minutes. Hopefully, we get to a stage where we cruise through this. I don't think we're going to have any problem winning this game. It's going to be a bit tough. And yeah, I'll throw Basuma in. He's surplus to requirements, and if he gets injured, so be it.
You need to have a mix of experience and kids. Every time we make 8, 9, 10 changes.
That's what I said. So we've not.
We're shit. We're awful. We lose games. There's no cohesion. You look. It looks like a team of strangers. You make too many changes. You've got to have just make a few changes, and we'll be fine. You agree, Sean?
It's just me and you, Lubo. Let's get back to the real conversation.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are we doing here?
Where's Johnny gone?
I know Johnny dropped out. I don't know where Johnny's gone.
Where's Johnny gone?
If I was hosting, I've got a little video that I do on Football Link whenever Johnny disappears. Johnny disappears all the time, like randomly pushes a button, and I've got a little jingle when Johnny puffs and he's gone. Listen, mate. In terms of tomorrow night or Wednesday night, for me, I hear the argument for playing some of the kids. I think it's right. Like, when else are you going to get the chance? I don't really also, though, subscribe to this notion of, like, mass changes, because we saw what happened. I know it was under Ange, but it was game 2, I think, under Ange, when we lost to Fulham, or we drew to Fulham and lost on pens. And the momentum of the football club will just go backwards in a massive way if we were to get sucker punched against Doncaster. And that could happen if you were to pick a team where you play those 4 players that I just spoke about at the front end of the pitch. I don't know where the creativity comes from with Odegaard, Tell, Johnson, and, for example, Dane Scarlett. I don't think Dane Scarlett has earned the right to be playing right now. The only reason he's here is because he's failed in loan moves. At the same time, I think he's always done okay when he's played in a Tottenham shirt, better in a Tottenham shirt than he has been when he's been on loan. But he's going to need to feed off of the scraps. And I look at Odegaard and think, I don't know. To me, mate, I just think it's an important game. Just because it's against an easier opposition, it's not something where you want to sort of just go, oh, let's just throw in everybody else. To me, that's absolute madness. I want to see 3 or 4 changes, but not 8 or 9 changes. I'd like to see someone come in that's. I'd like to see Danso needs a game for sure. Ben Davies can play at left back if you want.
If he's fit,
I think you should be still playing some. I think you should still be playing a few of the first teamers just to make sure that we get through it unscathed. Otherwise, it's also disrespectful to the fans to not get to see some of the first teamers.
All 25.
When we actually get through, I think we'll comfortably beat them. I'd like to get Grimsby in the next round.
Who did Grimsby? Grimsby still in the tournament?
They beat Sheffield United, didn't they?
Yeah, of course. And who have they got? Who have they got in this round? Who do they get in this round? Should we get up the draw? We've got Sheffield Wednesday. Lubo, you know everything, mate. You got an encyclopedic knowledge of everything apart from Daniel Levy's successes. It's very, very interesting.
The youth team.
Do you know what, Sean?
And they need talent ID.
No, Sean. Yeah. I'll live with it, mate. I'll live with it. Believe me. Talent ID. Oh yeah, we won't start with you.
Oh really? Really?
These kids are shit.
Let's go there. Look, this
really?
Really? Come on, let's spice it up. What are we doing here?
Really?
Let's start, Johnny. Should we talk about Jamie Donnelly? Let's talk about Jamie Donnelly.
What is it you feel like you're going to beat me on a debate about a player that can't get into the Stoke City team?
And look how Stoke did the other day when he
They're
left him off.
second in the table.
Not for long, mate. Not for long.
Mate, listen.
None of the other teams below, apart from Preston, none of them won behind.
Let's be very clear about this. By the way, Grimsby, for anyone that care, Grimsby. Oh, there you go. Here you go. I could bring up the full draw. Sorry.
Let's have a look at the draw.
Are we really? Yeah, do you want me to bring the draw up?
Yeah, let's have a look at the draw. Let's have a look
Carry on with your initial dig at Lubo, because we can go off on one. This tonight, it's very dull in the Tottenham world. We need a fight. Something needs to happen. We have an argument.
Let's have a fight.
Stills tonight.
Marinakis in Greece. We don't know.
He's been held against his will.
He flew into Cyprus today.
All right, he's been kidnapped by David Luiz, who plays for Paphos in Cyprus.
Listen,
he's just north of Paphos.
Listen, the last I heard, Cyprus has Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's not an excuse, really. Not an excuse. You like go on holiday and don't turn up. Not really an excuse.
Danny Kiriakou with the greatest comment I've ever read, and I only read the first few words. You have the worst takes on the Spurs youngsters. You've got the under-21 games, yet you have no idea about the players and what they're capable of. Tragic. Oh, shots fired by Danny Kiriakou.
Quickly, can we make an executive decision? Sorry, Luba, 1 second before you respond. Because about 5 minutes ago, Danny also had a crack at Johnny in the chat. I feel like Danny has had a couple of beers tonight. Danny's a little bit spicy. Maybe because considering this is a Spurs 5, maybe we should give an honourable introduction, if he's up for it, to Danny to come on and create a little bit of mayhem, because this show needs a little bit of spiciness.
Right. Danny, would you like to come on? Yeah, give me 5 minutes. In 3 months, he'll turn up. Like, I mean, what are we... The number of times he says, send me the link, Sav. Send me the link. Cool. All right, Dan. All right, Danny.
What happened to him yesterday as well, Sav?
Yeah, true, actually.
You on yesterday?
An hour before the show, I get, oh, Sav, I can't make it. Yeah, all right, Dan. I didn't plan for... Yeah.
He was washing his hair, wasn't he, last night?
And it's Jamie Donnelly, not Donnelly, Lubo.
It's Donnelly.
Donnelly. No, Donnelly.
I don't give a monkey's what his name is. He is not good enough. Lubo will fight to the end of the earth to tell you he is. The same way. Right. And Lubo, let me finish a sentence first, mate. Let me. Right. This absolute fluffy waffle, he should be in our squad when he can't get on the pitch for Stoke City. Do you know how sad it is? The fact that you turn around and you are so angry at Mark Robins for this. He's a shit manager. No, he's not. Mark Robins has done a very good job wherever he's been. Right? Stoke City, let me finish. Stoke City are second in the championship, right? Second in the championship, and Donnelly's nowhere near any of it, right? Ask yourself why.
Cost him the game by not bringing Donnelly on. They had one shot in the 93rd minute. They had one shot on target, Sav, and they lost 1-0 to QPR. If they were that good, if Robins had half a brain, he'd have brought on a creative midfield player to try and nick a point for Stoke.
Hang on.
And they lost. End of.
So you're attributing them losing a game to it's Donnelly. If you had bought on Donnelly, they wouldn't have lost.
When you only have one shot on target in 97 minutes and you leave your creative substitute unused on the bench, you've got to be asking questions. You would do if Frank did it.
Lubo, can I ask you a question?
Frank left the creative midfield player
Can I tell you why you're wrong here? Can I tell you why you're wrong? Right? I feel like this is another one of those subjects where you haven't done your homework. If you actually watch Stoke, they did bring on another creative player in front of Donnelly. Donnelly is like third choice playmaker for them.
But he didn't do any good either, did he? Because they lost and they only had one shot.
Maybe then it was just that Stoke had a bad game and it was nothing to do with it. Donnelly. So when Stoke lose, it's because of Donnelly, right? When they are second in the championship without him, what's your excuse then, Lubo?
They're not going to stay second.
That's not what. No, Lubo, you didn't again. Try answering the question I asked you, not what you think I asked you. Go on.
Why are they second?
Why are they second then?
Maybe they've had some easy games, Sam.
Oh my God! Is this how desperate you are to get your boy in? Is this how desperate you've got? You just turn around and go, I've got it wrong about Donnelly.
Sav, we got Simmons as a 10 3 days before the end of the transfer window. We should not have let our only number 10 in the club go on loan without a 10. And we still
You do when he's not good enough to play for Tottenham Hotspur or the Premier League or the Championship. Of course you do.
Well, one of the few things Ange did is play him, which was, and he did
left
okay.
back.
Hang on. He played him at left back
in the pre-season.
No, Johnny,
What are you talking about?
No. In his first season, he played against. He played at the Etihad. He had a few games.
Yeah, because he was forced to, Lubo. You know that. You know Ange Flange would never have entertained that. Can we talk about the players who are playing that are from our academy?
Hang on, Johnny, we will.
And scoring goals.
We will, Johnny. But the point is that Lubo will never just turn around and go, yeah, I've over-egged. What he does is, look at the excuses so far. He has gone so low to scrape the barrel that he's now going, one of the good things about Ange, who I absolutely hated, was he played Donnelly once. And how did that work out?
3 times.
Now you know why the Conservative Party, having watched the Spurs 5, have been calling Lubo and asking him to stand for the Mill Hill East by-election.
Why, are they shit at answering questions as well, Johnny? Is that what this is?
I mean, honestly, he's trying to avoid these.
He cracks me up. Lubo, for the last few years, right? I'll go through a list of the ones he's got spectacularly wrong, right? I'll go through a list.
He's left. He's leaving the building.
He's gone to get his file back.
He's got to make notes.
He played 4 minutes against Blackburn Rovers. Just so you know, right? Let's start with a monumental stinker that Lubo had. Josh Keeley. Oh, he should be in the Spurs squad instead of Kinski. We sold him for £1 million to League One, right? 1 million, right? Let's talk about Devine when he praises him. He can't get a game for love nor money at Tottenham either. Let's talk about Dorrington.
He scored a very nice goal on the weekend.
Can we just super quick recognize this man down here and this man down here, right? To you two, when you realize how bad Lubo is at his talent ID, does it not also ring true that maybe, just maybe, he's wrong about Levy in the same level of regard? He'd rather see like someone akin to Jamie Donnelly be running our football club than someone like, I don't know, Daniel Levy, which is the Harry Kane of chairman around the world, around European football. Let's be entirely honest here.
I find the whole thing hilarious that, like, we've got a guy. By the way, I think Donnelly will probably have a very good career floating around League One and the Championship, right? I do. I've got no doubt about that. Like most of the other youngsters that leave Premier League clubs. But this when Lubo likes a young player, right? He just, it's tunnel vision, and it doesn't matter.
They should be given an opportunity, Sav. They should be given an opportunity.
But if he's not good enough, why would he be given the opportunity? I watched him at Orient last year. That guy is not Premier League. He's not mobile enough. He's not got that speed of mobility, not speed. He's not got that speed of mobility. If Mark Robbins isn't even seeing him and going, yeah, you're better than the senior pros I've got.
He's looking for, then pull him back. If Robbins doesn't rate him, get him back. What's the point of him being there? There's just no point.
Yeah, sure. Hang on. You see what you've done there? We agree on that point. But the point is, maybe, just maybe, he's not as good as you think. If Stoke are what I told you, I've got a Stoke City fan on my channel tomorrow, by the way, who's a season ticket holder. He's on my channel tomorrow. I met him on holiday, right? And he turned around and he said to me, like, you see him, he said he's all right. He said he's all right, but he's no better than the players that it's not like, you know, when you get a young player that goes and other clubs look and go, cool, look at the level. Like when Conor Gallagher went out on loan, wherever he went, everyone was like, cool, look, he is level, like he's levels above the players we've got. Donnelly isn't better than the senior pros.
What did he say about Phillips? What did he say about Phillips? Out of curiosity, because he had a very good first season. He progressed.
Yeah, he said Phillips is decent, but he said they've gone out this summer and bought 2 new centre-halves in front of him. So
Right.
he said he's decent, but he said he's nowhere near Tottenham Hotspur level.
So can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Sorry, Savo.
Yeah.
So is that not shame on the club for sending him to a club that assigned 2 centre-backs when he's not going to get a game where he could have gone to a championship club?
Yeah, it wasn't Daniel Levy though, Johnny. That was a Vinay Venkatesham and Johan Lang thing. That was surely.
I suppose it depends though, Johnny. Like, I don't know when Phillips went there versus them signing 2 other centre-halves. But look, Johnny,
You
do you
asked
agree
the question though, right? You asked the question if you're doing transition and you're looking for
100%.
Lewis has been brought in as the transition guy.
100%.
Sure,
You know,
but
what
you know what, Johnny, do you agree with me?
Do you need him? Question 2: Are you willing to? Are you looking to fill the gap with a permanent signing? If the answer to either of those is no or yes, in chronological order, not
sure.
rough.
But do you guys agree though? At the end of the day, this does all boil down to if when they get there and they stand out, they will play. Like you know, Devine is playing. Why is Devine playing and Donnelly's not? Donnelly, not
Tyrese Hall came on, 67th minute, got a goal and 2 goals, made a big impact. I mean, it's the lower league.
Oh, not this again. Not this again. Oh my God. If every young player we loan out is going to be linked back to a generational footballer like Harry Kane, we're in trouble.
Orient, yeah.
Oh,
listen, I can tell you that when my mate picked up Eze, he was released by Millwall. You know, it happens. But, you know, it doesn't mean they're always going to have a great career.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't always mean they're going to. 100%. Isn't that Paul O'Keefe guy? Isn't he? Yeah. Isn't his job picking up players that were basically released from football clubs and then trying to find them sort of second or third chance?
Paul O'Keefe is the journalist.
No, well, he's not. I think he's a journalist. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone else might know, and someone in the chat might know. I'm pretty sure that his role is. Obviously, he has connections at Tottenham, but I'm pretty sure his role is he's like an agent, but not a traditional agent. I think he's like he takes kids that have been released and then tries to find them second chances in amongst football. I'm not sure if that's. Do any of you guys know that?
Not sure.
Sean, I had heard he's an agent. Is that the sort of thing? Do you remember Glenn Hoddle had this school out in Spain?
Yeah.
Do you remember for kids that were
released? Rejected.
That's what I thought he was. I don't know. I could be wildly wrong on that. So I'm not trying to like. I'm not. I just. That's what
you might well be right.
Look. I all I know is this about the younger players. I think the problem is, and I say this to people's faces, I say it to people's faces, I just think he overrates every young player. And then when anybody else doesn't play them, it's always their fault. Maybe, just maybe they're not as good as you think. And for me, when I watched Donnelly, I didn't see anything that made me go, you should definitely be in a Tottenham Hotspur squad. But if you're going to want players like Donnelly...
He went late in the window, didn't he, Donnelly?
I don't care when he went. I don't think he's good enough.
What's the point of going? I don't get it. What's the point of going if they're going to buy players in the same position and Donnelly gets left out? There's just no point in him being there. His career's going to stall, isn't it?
Well, you're going to have to ask the club about that. For me, I think that Jamie Donnelly should have stayed at Orient for another year. I think Mikey Moore should have gone somewhere like Millwall or Charlton, by the way, instead of going to Glasgow Rangers.
I think Jamie Donnelly probably would have done had they got promoted via the playoffs. I think he probably would have been a brilliant place, but they probably thought he was too good for League One. Just try him at the Championship. Have they picked the right spot? By the way, we are making massive assumptions. It's 5 games into the season. There's obviously acclimation times, acclimation processes. There's learning the new system, learning the new the crew, the staff, the players, all that stuff. So. I have no doubt that at some point Jamie Donnelly will get his chance, and at some point he will do, because he didn't get immediate minutes at Leyton Orient either, did he, Lubo?
December it was, Sean.
Yeah, December before he got a look in.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens. And I saw someone in the chat a little while ago called Rich S or something saying, I'm pretty sure that I heard Sean saying that Donnelly deserves his chance. What I did say, I didn't say that specifically. What I did say is that I do think that he's the sort of guy that where water finds its level, I think you could throw him in any particular depth of water, and he's a sort of geezer that would float. I just think he has that sort of technical ability where when he gets a chance, he'll land and he'll be fine. And so I do think that whenever that time comes, he will get given a chance in his current digs, and I think he will end up smashing it. And I don't know whether he'll be good enough for Tottenham. Unfortunately, these days, and I think, Saba, you were making this point earlier on your show this morning, I think it was, and I agreed with you, that actually it's probably a deterrent for young kids to be coming through youth systems at big clubs, right? Because there's so many cop blocks in the way in the pathway, and you're better off going through big teams in the Championship where you might get a chance, right? But for him specifically, whether he lands at Tottenham or otherwise, I think he will have a great career, and I genuinely do think at some point this season his name will be on the lips of the media. He will do it, but he just hasn't got his chance yet. I think just quickly, Johnny, 1 second. I think the one problem that someone like him has against him is that he doesn't have the physical, not necessarily strength, but if you're fast, you somehow get more kind of like I don't know what it is. Like you kind of expedite.
I think his mobility, Sean.
Yeah,
I think when I watched him, he looks a good player. You would expect that coming through the Tottenham Academy. I just think that he looks. It's not pace. I'm not talking about pace. I'm talking about speed of movement, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I just think he's that level below. And I mean, all I'll say is if we think that Jamie Donnelly should be in the Tottenham squad, then we've really got to not have any expectation. I don't want players like that in our squad. I don't. I would have liked him to have been a part of the pre-season, though. I would have liked to have seen what he could have done in the pre-season, and there was no harm in seeing that. You could have found a home for him in late August rather than finding it in early August and then not seeing him against Reading, not seeing him against Luton, not seeing him against Newcastle, Arsenal. There's no harm to giving him a chance. And isn't that what we were supposed to be? Isn't that what we were told, right? That we're going to see these players in the summer, But if Frank doesn't think he's good enough, right? I don't. By the way, that's speculation. But if Frank doesn't think he's good enough, don't you go with that, right? You go with that. Like, can I just say, when I see comments like this,
didn't keep any of them around. The only person Frank kept around was Dane Scarlett, and Dane Scarlett's not going to get any minutes at all, is he? In reality,
can I just say to my point that I don't think I've seen any of them.
Yeah, but how many of them did we see in the pre-season? Is my point. We didn't see any. We saw George Abbott.
Can I just say?
Hang on. But that's not true. Against Wycombe, against Luton in the
against Wycombe. I didn't see the Wycombe game. But
against Wycombe and Luton, we saw all of them play, didn't we? But I just think the gap from there to there is massive.
So can I just say, right? I've watched Jamie Donnelly play quite a few times, right, at academy. And I've seen him play left back. I've seen him play midfield. I've seen him play on the wing. I've seen him play as a false nine. I've seen him play in so many different positions. And he's always been effective for the academy. And he was the sort of the standard bearer of the academy when he was coming through. The shining light of the academy, the next big thing. Until obviously Mikey Moore showed up on the scene. But when I've spoken to his dad on a few occasions, he always said that he felt that he would have to go away from the club to get the minutes. And I think there's that realization. The same with Mikey Moore. He wanted to go away because he knew that he wasn't going to get minutes.
Sure.
Even with the situation we have right now, he still would have been behind Tell, Odebear, and whoever else in the team. So he's gone out to Rangers to graft and earn his thing. Now, he's got plenty of time on his hands because he's only just 18 and he's going to learn the hard way. Being knocked around in Glasgow and struggling at the moment, he's going to take time, but it'll be good for him, right? The knocks are what make you come back stronger. And sure. I agree. I think Jamie Donnelly, and that pre-season, I was so happy that he was given this opportunity to play. And then you see him play 2 games at left back and you think, what the fuck are you doing? He's not a left back. Yes, he can play at left back. And he got an assist But my point is like he never even got a minute in his true position. And I just think that it would have been better for him to even have a lower championship team or a team in League One, or to stay at Orient and have another season being knocked around and trying to prove himself at League One rather than sitting on the bench.
He's not necessarily going to be on the bench for long, though. I think that's the point.
Yeah, we don't know. No. He could come back, right? He said Orient. He never got a game.
And maybe I'm defending Lubo here. I personally think that he's the sort of guy that when he gets his chance, he seems to take it.
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, so like I think that we're writing off all of these loans so early.
No, we're not.
I'm not writing off the loan. My point is this, Sean. I don't disagree with what you and Johnny have said there, right? I don't disagree that he will get the opportunities this season, and it is only 6 games in. My point has always been and still stands that just because that happens doesn't mean I think he's anywhere near good enough, to Lubo's point, that he should be in our squad. I don't look at him and go, you should be coming on and getting minutes at Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, right? Will Lancashire is a player that I've always had this thought of. Like, I don't think he's someone that's going to pick the ball up on the edge of the area and put it top bins. But I've always had this impression of him. Whenever I've seen him, I saw him against Galatasaray. I saw him in the preseason against Reading. And a few other times here and there. I've always felt like he's a player that is a bit like, I think we spoke about it earlier, Johnny, on the Football Week. I think he's a bit of a Gary Lineker type. He's a poacher. If he's already got 3 goals this season for Oxford, right, in the Championship, 3 and 6, not a bad return
for a shit club.
For a bang average club in the Championship, 3 goals in 6 games, right? He starts for them. Lubo, Sava, Johnny, is he someone that you have any like? Is it the right level for him? And what will it take for him if he goes and bangs in 10, 12, 14 goals this season, and he's on? He's on par to do it right now. Is he a player that you think can come in and be? He's not.
I don't, because
God,
I feel the difference is I think it's all well and good grabbing some goals down there. I think that what they'll be looking for from a Premier League striker is it's going to be so many more attributes that he demonstrates this season, aside from has he got 12 to 15 goals for Oxford. They're going to watch what's his hold-up play like, what's his physicality like. Can he run the channel?
He's a big guy.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying when they're going to look at him to say the difference between there and there, that level, there's so many more attributes to.
If he scores 20 goals for Oxford this year, Oxford isn't a team that's expected to be in the playoffs, right? They're a team that's supposed to be.
I think if he does 12 goals, that would be fucking great. To be honest,
I agree. So my question is, what is the output? And again, I don't watch Oxford enough to know the 3 goals that he scored, whether they tap-ins or otherwise. But there is not all of Harry Kane's goals, by the way, are worldies. Not all of Harry Kane's, a lot of them were penalties. A lot of them were being in the right place at the right time. I know he was incredible at doing the link-up play as things went on, but Lubo, am I wrong in thinking? I think there's something in Will Lancashire. I've always thought it. I think there's something about him that I want to see, and I'm happy that he's at Oxford. I think it's the right standard. He's getting minutes. He scored 3 and 6. He hasn't played every game of every minute of every game. So if you look on a goal per minute basis, I don't know the standard of the goals he scored. I'm sitting there thinking maybe he could be a guy that comes back to Tottenham and plays a part next year.
Their win at Bristol City yesterday was their first win of the season.
Yeah.
I think what Sav's alluding to is what the Spurs scouts will be looking for.
Exactly.
Because they'll be following him and they'll say, right, these are the things we need from a centre forward if he's going to come back to the club and he's going to be in the squad next season. And I think you've got to be, even if he's not, you've got to be Premier League level quality, performance-wise, playing in a Championship team. And I think so.
Okay, but what about let's look at Gyökeres. Gyökeres left
Coventry.
Left. Well, first of all, he left Brighton.
Yeah.
Right. They bought him for $500,000. They sold him for $1 million to Coventry. In the Championship, he went and scored 30 goals or 25 goals. He wasn't deemed good enough by any Premier League team.
Correct.
And he fucks off to Portugal And he goes.
And by the way, he's just won the FIFA Men's Best Striker at the Ballon d'Or Awards tonight.
Who?
By the way, Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, but my point is, right, is that if Will Lancashire scores 15 goals this season for a subpar team, like a team that's not coming up, even if he doesn't come back to Tottenham, there'll be someone somewhere that will maybe buy him for 7-8 million quid, and then you put a 25% sell-on fee on him. That's a success story from Tottenham's youth, isn't it?
Exactly my point. Exactly. Correct. Because everyone looks at this. I look at all the players that have been shunted out by Arsenal, Nketiah, 30 million. He can't get a game. He struggles to get a game for Crystal Palace. Smith Rowe doesn't even start for Fulham. There's loads of players that come through. But, when the fact that Spurs actually paid £2 million from Sheffield United for him, which is very unusual for Spurs to pay that sort of money for a player. But, the fact that I'll tell you one thing that's really impressed me, and the one thing I've called out for and asked for, is Thomas Frank and Cochrane actually go and have watched the under-21s, which is something that Postecoglou couldn't be bothered his arse with, right? And that says to me that he hasn't lost this affinity with coaching and developing kids. And, he will be keeping an eye on, you know what, this kid's quite good. Let me bring him into the fold in training. And he'll be probably watching some of these others and asking about them. Will Lancashire, as Sean quite rightly said, I like Will Lancashire. Ange didn't like Will Lancashire. He definitely didn't, because I know that's one of the reasons he went out. And to be held for a scapegoat, that sending off after he scored the goal against Galatasaray, he hardly played a game after that. But
best and worst night of his career, right?
Yeah. And I actually think that he's got big shoulders. He's more like, if you've seen him play, he's more like an Olympic butterfly swimmer. He's a big unit.
And he's in the right place at the right time, Johnny. He understands the physics of the game. Like, he knows where to be, where the knockdown is like. He's got something about him that you can't teach, in my opinion.
You know what? I've seen so many players over the years. I've seen so many players over the years, right, that my mate's been involved with, or he's, through the other agents who they've been looking after. And, there's this massive expectation and they're fantastic. And then they drop off the cliff. Reece Nelson, I can list a whole load of them for you, right? Josh Arnemar, there's loads, right? And then you have the others who really struggle at that early stage, but then start to come to the fore, 22, 23, 24, and suddenly find their feet. And, I think, as football fans, not just this club, but all clubs, we tend to quite wrongly write players off or praise them too early. I look at someone like Jadon Sancho. I look at someone like João Felix, all this promise, all the golden promise, and yet they're shunted from club to club to club because they're now not doing it. So, we could quite possibly have players within the Spurs system or on loans that will come through, and there will be players that, look like they're not going to make it. We have to get rid of them, and you have to put on a sell-on players. You look at Parrott. Okay, we got rid of him. We got, what was it, 6 million we got for him? Something like that.
That's all it was, 6.7
million. He's having a very good season out in Holland, right? Good
Johnny,
luck to him.
Johnny, do you know what? This is something I really do agree with when Sean says, and it's something one of my old bosses said to me was, we all football fans judge academies by how many people break through and make it. And we all think that everyone to be successful means they have to make it at Spurs. For me, if you've got Will Lancashire and he has a good year at Oxford, but the Spurs get, and that's what I meant, what you said, Lubo. I'm talking about when the Spurs analysts go and watch him, they won't just be going, Will score today. They'll be going and saying, is he physically strong enough? Is he holding the ball up? What would he be like when he's playing against Virgil van Dijk? When he's playing against Tarkowski? Do you know what I mean? Right?
They'll be looking at the data.
Yeah, they'll be watching everything, because to be a striker now, when you used to play a 4-4-2, you could always have one guy that didn't really do a lot, but knew where the net was. Unfortunately, now you're playing in an era of one up top. That guy up top doesn't get away with only scoring goals these days. They don't. But the point that you said, Sean, that I thought was brilliant. And as I said, one of my bosses said to me, if you've got 4 or 5 of these youth players that are out on loan, they all come back to Spurs and they're all sold 5, 6 million, 4 million, 3 million, and you start making money. The academy has worked. And what you do want in and amongst all of that in a 3-4 year period is you want that one. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not all going to be Sol Campbells, Ledley Kings and Harry Kanes, who are the 3 standouts in the Premier League era. But you want a few that end up being Harry Winkses. They play 150 odd games for the club and you make some money. My question mark is, how many of these lot that are out on loan right now do I look at and think you're going to get that 100, 150 games for Spurs? It's always going to be that amount. Unfortunately, that's
the way it should be, right? That's the way, that is the way it should be. Like look at Man City's success stories. Man City's success stories. Most of the players that they brought in that have gone out on loan that never played a minute, like a Pedro Porro, they didn't have them from 13. They got them at 16, 17, like we started doing last year, the year before, 2 years ago, right? Sure. You bring them in. Mason Melia, right? You pay £1 million, you break the Irish record for a kid, whatever. He's going to join us in January. We'll see. He might be
very well. Let me tell you,
he looks really good, right? But is he going to be the next Harry Kane? Unlikely. Will he be someone that can play for Tottenham? Let's hope so. But if not, I would imagine he comes in and goes out on loan to the Championship if he's that good, or League One maybe. We'll know. And you trust Thomas Frank and Cochrane and that, but they're going to be running to Saba's point. Like, they're going to be looking at someone like Will Lancashire. Let's stick on Will Lancashire as a point, right? If he goes and scores 15 goals, it's not just the data running on these players, in my opinion, and I don't know, but I'd imagine, it's not just about, are they big enough? Are they strong enough? Is he the sort of player that we need, right? Is he the sort of player that we need given what we're trying to achieve that we currently don't have? If not, then we'll sell him. And by the way, they probably also, if they're that smart about this data stuff, they probably also run the data. And if somebody like Leeds United come along and say, we'd like him, then maybe they run the data and go, actually, Leeds United are probably running the data on Will Lancashire, and he's exactly what they need. And so let's price him accordingly for them. And maybe someone else that comes along that doesn't quite need him, they may price that accordingly as such as well. The depths of what the data can provide, if you're smart about it, you can be running that stuff not just for your own team but for other teams as well.
So Will Lancashire last season, right, from his own admission, right, he struggled last season from the physical. He's a big guy, but he needed that physicality for the press. I'll just read you something actually, because I saw something yesterday about him, because they played Bristol City away. Bristol City had a chance to go second. It says the 23-year-old is currently at Oxford United, and he caught the eye once again, delivering a very impressive performance despite not finding the net, with Oxford fans supporting him and full of praise. Lancashire's pressing from the front was absolutely tireless, and his link-up play was intelligent, while his movement consistently stretched the Bristol City back line, leaving him unfortunate not to be rewarded with the goal. Supported of the youth were quick to take to social media to share their thoughts on the Tottenham low knee, with one writing, Lancashire is looking more and more dangerous. Lancashire looking as dangerous as usual. Definition of a complete performance. Lancashire is absolutely incredible. What a great all-round team performance today. Proud of the boys, but Lancashire is an absolute beast. And another one, shout out to Will Lancashire. Quality since the day we signed him. Plays like a seasoned professional already. He's got a future.
Wow. Love that. I hadn't heard that. Is that fan tweets? Sorry, Lou,
in my last few years, I used to go to a physio who was funny enough, who was physio down at Spurs in the 90s, and he was scouting at the time, and he showed me an old scouting reports, literally 3 pages over 6 different subjects, 6 different areas. It was really, really concise.
Did he mention Will Lancashire?
It was a few years ago.
Oh, hello.
Oh, here he is.
Fisherman.
Guy that never turns up at under 21 matches.
Fisherman.
Yeah, but at least I
Never
don't
turns up.
waffle about it, Lubo.
I only
Go
sent
to the
the link-
matches.
I only sent the link 25 minutes ago. He said, I'm just
I know.
booting up the computer. 25 minutes later, Jesus Christ, mate. World
Mate,
wars
mate,
have been fought and
oh.
won in that time.
World wars in my toilet, mate. That's what world wars were. So, so it had to be done. But I couldn't listen to Lubo waffle about these youngsters anymore. It's absolutely tragic. It's ridiculous, Lubo. You go to the matches, right? And you say every single player you see is the next Lionel Messi. Every single player. Archie Gray, Lionel Messi. Oh, it's going to be generational. Every single one.
I never called
Let me ask you a question,
I've
Lubo.
never called Gray generational, Danny. You're making things up now, mates.
Lubo, how many
You want to have
players
a pop,
have left?
but come out with facts. I've never said Gray generational.
I'll give you. So you want to talk about facts, Lubo?
Wait, what?
Lubo, you want to talk about facts?
I actually said the only
Lubo,
generational player
let me give you a fact.
Was Mikey
Let me
Moore.
give you a fact, Lubo. How many players in the last 20 years have left Tottenham and actually gone on and progressed their career at a better club, right? A youngster from our academy. How many players?
Juan Foy? One?
From our academy, from our academy, I'm talking about.
From our academy.
This is a great question, Danny. That's a well done, Danny K.
He might have turned up late, but the fisherman has delivered.
Wait.
Do you know what?
How many?
He has
how many
taken no
players from
time
our
getting used
academy
to the
have
pace of this game. He is straight into the action. He's Danny
What a
K
great
right there.
sub. What a great sub.
Wait,
He's warming up.
Just to be clear, what's the question?
getting
How
started.
many players from our academy, as in what joined at 13, 14, 15, or came in 18?
So the argument is that Lubo seems to think that every single player that plays in our academy is going to be the next big thing at Spurs.
No, I don't. No, I
Yes,
don't.
you do.
I really,
Right? You do, Lubo. You do.
You
Right?
don't.
You go to the games.
No, I
You go
don't.
to the under 21 games and the under 18 games.
rubbish.
And
That's
this guy is amazing. He's gonna be. He's so good.
It's
We got
rubbish.
to play him. We got to play him. We got to give him a chance, right? How many of these players, Luba, in the last 20, let's say 25 years, right? And there's only one player I can name who's you probably know who it is. Other than that player, how many players have Spurs actually brought through their academy and gone on to play at a bigger club at a higher level?
I've got them. Madueke.
Yeah. Adam Smith, Bournemouth.
A bigger level.
A bigger level than Spurs. Is not Bournemouth.
Hang on.
A bigger level.
A bigger level than Spurs Academy is Premier League.
No.
Lubo.
You're
try to twist
changing the
it.
question, Lubo. No. Have they left Spurs? Oh, hang on, Danny, if I'm hearing you right, for example, you're saying like Winks comes through.
Harry Kane.
Hang on, like when a Winks comes through, does he leave Spurs to go to a bigger club? No, he goes down to Leicester. That type of thing.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
So Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
Okay. Harry
And
Kane.
Sol Campbell.
Sol Campbell.
Yeah, Sol Campbell. Yeah.
Madueke.
Maybe Madueke. Yeah. In the last 25 years,
via a few places first, right? Via Madueke.
Not directly come from Spurs and gone to Man City or gone to Real Madrid.
So Kane and Sol Campbell, two of the big three that came through the club in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
No one else, I don't think.
Who's gone on to even have a top level career, if not at the same standard as Tottenham? Harry Winks, Ollie Skip.
I wouldn't say
Not
top level
many.
career though.
And Andros Townsend, you could have said, has had a really good career, hasn't he? Newcastle Palace.
Yeah, he had a decent career.
But
again, it's not bigger than Spurs.
Cole Walker-Peters, you could Southampton and
Carter's Vickers went to Celtic. Is that a bigger club than Tottenham?
Oh, let's not do that game. We'll be here all night.
It depends on how people judge as a big club.
They are a bigger club than Tottenham. They are a bigger club than Tottenham.
Is the point you're making, Danny, that for all of these players that get raved about at that age and Spurs messed up and Spurs didn't give them a chance, is that if we had messed up badly and if we had got so many wrong, we would be seeing loads of these young players that we didn't give a chance to at big clubs. Is that the point you're trying to make? Right.
Yeah, 100%. Well, also,
And that's exactly where I think Moore, Donnelly, Lancashire, and all those boys will end up as well.
Target.
Yeah, the thing is, all of these players, like all of these players, they're not good enough, which is why they end up leaving, going and they downgrade. They never go above a level. There's very few players that we just said it. Sol Campbell and Harry Kane. It's the only two players. They were generational players.
David Beckham.
Players.
David Beckham. You claiming Beckham? You claiming Beckham, Lubo?
David.
I think that's David from Peckham. Graham Souness.
yeah,
that's right. Souness was another.
Oh my God.
We're going as far back as Graham Souness here. Look, we're going.
Yeah.
Did he come through Spurs' academy?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He came through Spurs' academy.
He got fucked around as well, and that wasn't even Daniel Levy.
He couldn't get in.
Lubo thinks it was Levy though. He might have been Levy.
Daniel.
He couldn't get in because Mullery, Peters, and Perryman were the midfield, and he wanted to play.
Nick Barmby, if we want to go back to the 90s, Nick Barmby did?
Yeah,
I mean we're going back for a long time.
Where did Barney go after Tottenham to Everton, wasn't it?
Was it
Liverpool?
Was it?
Yeah,
Liverpool.
Oh, he went to a few, but he played for Liverpool. Didn't he? Played for
Middlesbrough.
Yeah, look. I say what I always say about this, right, Danny? I always think this. Every year I hear insert name is the one to watch. Every year it's this player, that player, this player, that player, this player, that player. Do you know how often anyone is actually right is that percent?
Yeah.
So this is why when people go, you're harsh, you write them off. All the facts and data is in my favour. The Kanes, the Campbells, and the Kings. You think about it, right? We did this morning on my show. Sol Campbell, sorry, I know people don't want to talk about him. Sol Campbell made his Spurs debut in December of 1992, right?
Yeah.
33 years. And in that 33 years, you would say him for a decade, King for a decade, Kane for a decade are the three where you go top level footballers, right? All three of them.
Yep.
When I look underneath that, we've had loads that have come through and may have played 50 games, 60 games, but moved on. You know, when you look at the Winkses, the Skips, the Townsends, the yada, 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 all of these players. But every year, every single year without fail, there is a Lubo somewhere telling you, this guy. Hang on, hear me out.
I'm not too so sad.
Hang on, hear me out, right?
Go on, I'll come back after you finish.
Let him land.
Right? But the problem is, for every single name that you insert into that bracket, how many of them actually became what those fans that put them on a pedestal, how many of them actually became, Danny, what those fans said they would?
Ryan Mason.
None of these players.
Ryan Mason.
Hang on. Now, does that mean there won't be another Kane, King, Campbell? Of course not. Somebody will. But this is the problem. So far this window, I've heard Moore's the one. It's Moore. No, it's not Moore. It's not Moore. It's Donnelly. No, it's not Donnelly. It's Vuskovic. It's not Vuskovic. It's Melia. It's not Melia. It's Luca Williams-Barnett. The problem is they can't all be what every fan wants them to be. Maybe one of those turns into a top-level Spurs footballer. But the chances is that hardly any of them will turn into a top-level footballer for Spurs. That's
the shame. That's the shame.
It's either a shame or they're not good enough, Lubo.
Most of the time they're not good enough.
Point of view, Danny, from a fan's point of view, it's a shame because we all want the young kids, the academy kids that come through, that are Tottenham through and through, to come right the way through. Like the three that you mentioned, like a David Howes, like a Vinny Sandways, like a Glenn Hoddle, like a Steve Perryman. You know, and the more the games become global, obviously the less chance the kids have of coming through the academy. What I was excited about was that having followed it used to be the football combination. Then it was the under 23s and it was the under 21s. And you follow the kids coming through to see if there are some real talents coming through. And we hadn't had a decent team, and I think Johnny will back me up. We haven't had a decent academy for how many years, Johnny? 25, 30 years? With
He's on mute.
What I would say, in all honesty, is that having watched a load of crap for such a long time, and when Fabio turned up and he saw the pile of shit that was Tottenham Hotspur, he went straight into Daniel's office and said, "This is absolute toilet. If you want me to turn this up, I'm going to rip it to shreds." You got a whole pile of Instagram kids here who they're with their mum and their dad, and they're on the sideline getting pictures. This is bullshit. He went in there, he ripped it up. Steve Hitchin ran into Levy's office crying, "What am I doing? What's going on?" He said, "You don't like it, leave." He left. It took him years to find a job. And we went backwards before we could come forward because he got rid of loads of kids on every single level, 21s, 18s, 16s. They all went out the door. And then we had this slow process of not only restructuring our recruitment in the local area, a local area which saw kids on our doorstep going to Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham. We tried to combat that, but also we started recruiting kids. And we're still doing it now, you know, signing like your likes of your Will Lancashire's, Oliver Boast, who's going to be a real talent, you know, real top kid. From
Boast to the list.
I'm saying he's top talent.
Melia, they're all going to be top players.
Listen. I said he's a top talent. He's a top talent now, as he is. Okay, you can look at the under 16s and look at under 18s for England. Not all of them come through, and not all of them make it. In fact, if you look at it, funny you brought that up. When I look at the under 18s, how England go on to win under 16, under 18, under 21 tournaments worldwide, and yet those very same players quite often don't even get into their first teams in their clubs.
And that's Johnny. That's a whole nother argument.
Yeah, whereas the teams that we beat in the countries we beat, whether it's Spain, Portugal, whatever, those players are in fact getting first team minutes already for their clubs, and that's where English football or Premier League football and how the development happens. And it's not just at Spurs, it's at all clubs, at many clubs.
Yeah,
this is not following up. We have abundance of talent coming through in England and Scotland and in Britain in general, but it isn't being utilised in that final push between 16, 18, 21 into that first team.
England probably have more talent in their youth academies than most of Europe. The
Correct.
problem in England is that, like Sav was talking about on his show, was it this morning? I think Sav, that the Premier League is so heightened now globally, and because of the amount of money that the TV rights all around the world generate, the Premier League, they just want the best of the best. They want the best youngsters, the best players, and by that you get a really high standard of football, which is anyone can beat anyone on their day, but because of that, it stops the progression of the youth people, the kids in the youth academies coming through because they're not given the chances. So unless the Premier League, if they really want grassroots football in this country to actually change and actually see the youngsters given the chance and actually become those players that you see in the under 21s and under 18 teams, then the Premier League have to do something and say, like, we need you have to have a minimum
this morning. Did you this morning?
Yeah, I agree. Exactly.
I think that in any match day squad, not your registered squad, any match day squad of 20, 5 players from every club must be through the academy.
Yeah.
5.
Association trained rules, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But the thing is with association, the thing is with the current association trained rule, they just have to be in your 25. So that means normally most of those association trained players will sit probably between player 21 and player 25. I'm talking about in a match.
Why would the Premier League agree to that? Because all that's going to do is hinder their UEFA challenges.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying if something like that was implemented, and then you had 5 players in every 20 that are through the academy, you're now going to start to see a lot more of these younger players getting minutes, But
no, I hear you. But I'm just saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Where do the big teams' money come from?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's the problem.
Sean,
I
agree.
it's like a catch-22.
Until you have one overarching UEFA, whatever, like overarching umbrella that dictates the rules for everybody, and everyone behaves accordingly. That's never going to be the case because you already have it. You already see it with the financial FFP and the PSR rules. The Premier League allow teams to get away with murder, and they only get caught out when it comes to UEFA. So, like, if you're a team that sits there and finishes 8th or 9th every year, you can and you had an ambitious owner, you can essentially get away with murder. And to a point, like, that's great until you want to qualify for Europe, and then you've got 3 years to behave. Like, the UEFA rules for PSR and FFP are good, are stringent, and are tight. It should be the case with the Premier League. It isn't, because the Premier League, there's 20 teams that vote for what they want, and it's about back scratching. So it's never going to work. I hear what you're saying, Saba, and I agree with you. If it was that way,
men's Ballon d'Or is Ousmane Dembele. The closest person in the Premier League was Mo Salah, who finished 4th, and Cole Palmer finished 8th. So Dembele is the Ballon d'Or winner for anyone that cares.
So have we done any super chats at all tonight? We haven't done them, have we?
Well, I'm going to do. I'll do them. I was going to do them when you finish that, but just to let you know. So the men's is Ousmane Dembele, and the women's is Atena Bonmati. She's won a hat trick. That's her third Ballon d'Or.
Never heard her name.
Leon or Barcelona?
Huh?
Who does she play for?
Never heard her name ever.
I'm guessing she said, when I was a kid, I didn't think women's football would exist. My idols were Iniesta and Xavi because I only saw them. I'm guessing she's Barcelona. Anyway, so Dembele, let me do the super chats then.
Just to add before you do, Sav, if that was to change, the one thing that would come out of it is Lubo might actually get one of his predictions right about these youngsters.
Danny,
that'd be like a great thing.
Danny, when Johnny and I start going to watch some of the Youth Cup games after Christmas, come with us and watch.
All right.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're watching them in the Youth Cup. This is the difference. This is the difference, right?
I can see that. I can tell you, Sam.
When working in youth football, do you know what? The number of players, day in, day out, you'd see on the training ground for Chelsea, for Charlton, wherever I was, and you'd go, he is phenomenal. We got big hopes for him. He's going to be, he's phenomenal. I don't know where they are. Because being phenomenal at 17, 18 isn't the same as being phenomenal at the elite level of men's football.
No, I know that. I know that. I
don't know what you do, though, the way you rate people Kinley and Donnelly and Gray.
People don't listen to what I say. They take what I say and they spread the whole thing and conflate it into different narratives. Tyrese Hall, prime example, looked terrific. Went to see him against Burton, against Wimbledon in the Youth Cup. He played. I think we got knocked out against City, unfortunately, in the quarterfinals a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, Mikey Moore had done his ankle in the round before. It was a fantastic game. I think City went on to win the Youth Cup. They beat us with 2 late goals, 2-1. Tyrese Hall was absolutely superb. He went out again. Ange played him against QPR in a pre-season friendly, and he looked lost, unfortunately. And that's the difference. But you know what? As a fan,
everyone looked lost.
When you see a good kid coming through, obviously you hope that he's gonna be a Harry Kane, he's gonna be a Glenn Hoddle, he's gonna be a Steve Perryman, he's gonna be a Ledley King. You know, you want these boys to be successful.
Lubo, can I ask you one question? If you had to pick one player, I know Sam's got to do the super chats, and I know we're probably going to talk about Doncaster for the last, I guess, I'm taking over the hosting, but just quickly, Lubo, if you had to pick one player of the current crop, of those that are on loan, those that are in the under-21s, and those that are about to join, and I'll extrapolate. One name answer from you, Lubo, one name from Johnny, one name from Danny, one name from Saba. You had to pick one name, from Melia to Lancashire to whoever else in between. Who is it?
They're outside. You're not talking about a Bergveld type player. You're talking about outside of the first team.
Players that are currently in the under-21s, under-18s, currently on loan, or currently about to join in January, like Melia. Not someone that's already in the first team. Who is the next name, the one name that you think is going to make it into the first team?
Melia I haven't seen, but from what I've seen so far, Williams Barnett.
Johnny?
So make it to the first team, yes?
Yeah,
Did you say?
the one name of all of the rest that will actually not just have 20 minutes on Wednesday, but I mean like be a part of our first team. The one name that you think is going to make it of all of the guys that are out there.
It's a toss-up between Mikey Moore and Barnett, I would say. Well, I'm going to go completely left field. I'm going to say Byfield.
Danny?
From what I've seen, I'd go with Williams Barnett. From what I've seen, I haven't seen much of Melia, so I can't say. But right now, who's going to be the first one out of those lot? Maybe into the first team, maybe Lancashire.
I'm not just saying like 5 minutes on Wednesday.
The best kid. Byfield is the best defender I've seen come out of the club or through the club, and that includes your Dorringtons and all the rest of it since Ledley King. That's my opinion. Right.
I'm going to go for Mason Melia purely because I've watched him on the Y Scout, and I still don't know what the Irish standard is, but he is so far above it. It's insane. I don't know about the rest of them. I've got no idea about Luca Williams, but all this under 21 bollocks. I don't care if you can score 500 goals in the under 21.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't make a thing. Doesn't mean a thing to me.
But also, Sean, just to add as well, right?
Mason Melia, just quickly. I want to get Savas, and you can defend Danny, but I want to get. I'm going for Mason Melia. Sava, pick one name.
Stands out for me better than all of them is Luca Williams Barnett. It's his feet. It's his feet. I watched their footwork.
Yeah.
It's his speed of feet, and this is what the Greys don't have. This is what the Donnellys
He's got it up
have.
here, Sav. It's up
Up
here.
there, and his speed of footwork. But again, I don't necessarily go, he's gonna 100% make it, but he is the one that when I watched him last week in the youth game, and the fact that he is playing like 3 years up, 2 or 3 years up, and he still was the best player on the park at that age. He's got everything to make it. Now it's got to be all the rest, right? His personality, his temperament, his development. All of those things have to work, but he's the one I would say. He's the one. By the way, this guy, can you? I'll be honest. I'll say, just fuck off. You've said this 3 times now. A bit boring. Sorry that a Spurs channel wants to talk about something to do with the club and its future and its youth, and just so politely fuck off. Sorry, I get so bored. You've put it in 4 times or 3 times. Just
how should we fuck off, sir?
Sorry, it's so. This is the thing. People don't want to learn about anything other than they want a row, they want to fight, but they don't want to listen to conversation from people that are watching the next generation of players. It's crazy.
I think with players as well, Sav, like your youth players, right? The thing is, just because they might be talented and whatever, that you could have like a Melia score 20 goals or Williams Barnett, whatever, is bangs in goals for under 21 level. Any player, it doesn't matter, right? Because a player can just come into the Premier League and they might take a year to get going or whatever it is, but some players can just make it work. Some players can stand out, right?
I got to change my number, mate. It's Voskovic. I forgot about him. He's the guy who's going to.
If you're adding him into it.
Oh, right. Okay. Vusky.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I thought we talked still going Williams through the academy.
I don't think Voskovic is a good defender. There you go. Said it.
Sorry. But the thing is, right?
What I've seen so far, he's got a lot to work on. I think a lot of what I see when people talk about him is all about his physicality and what he is in the air. Whenever I've seen him play the clips and when I watched him in the preseason, for me, defensively, there's a lot to be desired.
There's a lot to learn, right? But he said it himself. That's why he said it, which is good thing that he can see it himself. Like he literally said that after seeing Van de Ven and Romero, like I realized that I'm nowhere near their level, so I've got to improve. Yeah. So the good thing is,
I agree. That was the best thing I've heard from a youth team player for a long time.
Yeah, for me, that shows his mentality, and that's what I like to see in a young player who knows they're not as good as they think they are, right? Sure. And they see the better players around them, and they want to be better. And he decided to go on loan so that he can play and actually gain the experience. So that's a good thing, right?
He got roasted. He got roasted last week by Harry Kane, and he was man of the match this week. against a team that were much lower down in the Bundesliga.
But this is exactly it. This is exactly it, Lubo, right? So
that's it. What did I say to you when you were saying, Lubo, that you would rather him sit on our bench rather than go and play? What did I say to you? I want him to go and play to iron out these kinks. I'm not saying he won't grow, but sitting on our bench, it's another one we wanted sitting on our bench.
Just like Archie Gray.
The worry for me, I think the worry for me was purely the injury records of Romero and Van der Ven.
Yeah, I agree with you, Levy. I think we were all working on that presumption that
shouldn't we be working on one of our young players developing?
Yeah, but he could have waited. That if Dragusin and Takai were not going to be available, then there was absolutely no option for us to go to a back three at any point if they weren't available, and if one of those guys that are currently in the team got injured. And so I think Lubo and myself were on the same page that in that scenario, you keep him around until January, just in case. But as it turned out, Dragusin was back earlier than we thought, and so is Kota Takai, and so within the kind of realms of the knowledge that we now have, it was the right decision. But at the time, we didn't know that. I'll defend Lubo there on that one.
Also, just to add, right, the thing is with players, what's so beautiful about football is that everyone is different in their own unique way, right? You can have players like, for example, Ian Wright, who really started kicking off his career quite late on, 26, 27?
25.
When he moved to
25.
Yeah, but when he made the move to Arsenal, how he was about that sort of age, wasn't he? Right.
Yeah.
But that's when he came into it. So before that, he wasn't like the Ian Wright that everyone went to sort of know, basically.
But
and it's like Gareth Bale, right? But the thing is, the whole point of what I'm saying is that some players can literally change like that in an instant, right? Sometimes it could take, you might get a kid who's amazing as a kid, but then just tails off, right? How many kids have we seen like who are really good as a youngster, but just tail off as their career goes on? And you can also switch it the other way. How many youngsters are not as good? For example, Harry Kane, he might be banging in goals, but look how long it took Harry Kane to get to where he was. And then all of a sudden he started getting his chance at the right time. And then he flew after that. And also, like, if you look at like a Gareth Bale, how long did it take Gareth Bale to get to Gareth Bale's level? He was in a team where how many games did he was in a team at some team that lost so many games and didn't win a game of football. And then all of a sudden he comes back one summer. Yeah, he comes back one summer, bulks up, and then Gareth Bale was Gareth Bale. And Luka Modric, he started on the left wing. He was so weak when he came into the squad, right? He was so weak. And then as soon as that's the first season, after that first season, you could see he strengthened a bit. You could see the size of his legs grew, right? As soon as he got that lower body strength, that's lower center of gravity, Luka Modric became one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, it took Gareth Bale 3 years. It took him 3 years from joining to the San Siro when he just exploded.
Yeah, but we've seen when he was at Southampton what he was capable of, right? A lot of this we have to take into account situation, tactics, manager, the state of the club at the time. There's a lot of things that go into here rather than just the player being shit or good, right? No. It's, Harry Redknapp came in and brought Luka Modric into the middle of the park, right? Yeah. So he brought him into the middle of the park and realised, actually, you know what? I can get the best out of him by putting him into the middle. And then he pushed Bale higher up and the rest is history, right? So, but guys, we haven't got a lot of time and I need to do loads of super chats and need to do the shirt draw. What I will say is I'm going to do the shirt draw in literally 5 minutes, bang on 1 hour 58. So we're 1 hour 53. If you want the chance to win a replica football shirt of your choice, #OKJersey, exactly like this. If you don't spell it like this, it won't work. So please do that. Let me go through the super chats. And then, by the way, we will be redirecting you over to the Spurs Kings. So Ash, Matic, Marlon, and the boys over there. Big up to Blaine, who has become a YouTube member. Boom. Blaine, what a absolute legend. If that wasn't good enough from Blaine, he then gave Spurs 5 memberships. 5 Spurs 5 memberships. Absolute legend. But he didn't stop there because like any good player, he just kept scoring goals. And then he went to 10 memberships to be given away.
He's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
15,
That's a hat trick.
16 GA by this point. But then Blaine said, I don't want 16 GA. I want 26 GA. I'll add a tenner to the pot. Very, very generous, my man. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
He's up for the Ballon d'Or. He's on for the Ballon d'Or.
He is. He said, Lugo, love you to bits, my man. I love this. You always know when it starts like that, you know something bad's coming.
Love you to
bits, my man.
As soon as you see a but, the previous bit is irrelevant. Let's carry on.
When you hinge your credibility on a bloke called Jeff, I have to question your opinions. Jeff equals great at diagnosing a knock on my 2004 Focus, but not football. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And RIP to the 2004 Ford Focus, I'm guessing. Big up to you, Blaine. Very, very generous, my man. We really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Big up.
Sab, super quick. Blaine, just word of like friendly advice. Listen, we will never stop you doing what you do to all of us. But if you have enough money to be able to be as generous as you are to the YouTube community, and you're still rocking a 2004 Ford Focus, I would encourage you to relax on the super chats and go and get yourself a better whip, bro. You know, just a little bit. Listen, you do you, and we're very, very grateful. We're very, very grateful for all you do for the community.
Big up to a user said, "Love you, Levy. Miss you. Bring our Tottenham back." Sean burner account once again, pumping money into the channel. Big up to you. Thank you, a user. Yeah, we all love Daniel Lee. Oh, let's all say it together. You ready, Lubo? On 3. It's love you, Levy. Ready? 1, 2, 3. No, Lubo. Big up to you, a user. Big up to Rick Payne. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Choo. Big up to you, my man. Big up to Tell Him to Harry Upper and Colo Simmons' son. I mean, great names. Big up to you. Said Lubo could turn D-Day into double D-Day by a mere snap. Yeah, what a great sentence. No idea what you're on about, but love it. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Cat Funt has said, can we have some Shawnee Oki, the Harry Kane banger? We'd love to, but we are on a deadline. I've got 3.5 minutes to get everything done. Big up to you, Cat Funt. Really appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. Shearman, thank you very much. You said best window Spurs have had was 2015. There was a very good window in 2015, by the way, that everyone seems to just forget. But I completely agree with you. Big up to Gary Paul Speed. Said Paul Mitchell is now free. Bring him back to Spurs. Yeah, I don't think anyone would be complaining if that's the case. Thank you very much, Gary. And Tell Him to Harry Upper has said again, the Ibsen, Shakespeare and Thoreau of YouTube. Oh, my God. What's going on? What's going on? Big up to you. Thank you very much. And Dean Law, always in it, always chucking super stickers about like confetti at a wedding. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. What I will say is, guys, I am going to do the draw right now. I'm going to bring it up on screen so that you can all see that I'm not cheating. I don't know why.
Let's hope the Spurs 5 don't win. Because I've seen a few hashtags from the Spurs.
They have to be here. They have to be here to acknowledge the winner, or else we draw again.
Yeah, and we've got 2 minutes and 8 seconds. You ready, guys?
Hey. Tenerife out in Brazil.
Tenerife, easy.
That might be tricky with postage.
Tenerife Bob, you have won. What you need to do is hit up one of these boys on X.
He's got to be here first. He's got to be here. Tenerife Bob, are you in the house? Are you in the house, Tenerife Bob? Let us know.
Guys, I've got 90 seconds to end this show. Very quickly, Stell's position under threat with Academy panelist Danny K on fire. We're just swapping one Greek for another. It's a bit like sun.
It's all Greek to me.
It's a bit like Sun and Yang. Big up to you, Rick
5
Payne.
seconds as we redraw. Tenerife Bob, are you in the house? 5, 4, 3.
You ain't here.
2. Where is he?
Oh, poor old Bob.
Bob, you're not here, mate.
Whoever gets the next one needs anyone. We haven't got time, so whoever gets this needs to be here.
Spurs 5 nearly won it.
Jordan.
Jordan.
He's definitely here. Jordan's definitely here.
Jordan's definitely here. I've seen him. Jordan,
Yeah.
just quickly let us know because I need to end this show in the next 40 seconds.
30 seconds.
While
No.
we're waiting,
No.
while waiting, I've got to
No,
call
don't.
Johnny out for waffling.
No,
as
no,
usual.
guys, I haven't got time. It's got to be under 2 hours. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be under 2 hours.
Jordan, where are you? Tenerife Bob.
He's not here.
Jordan, quick.
We haven't
Right.
given one away. You got
Guys,
to
I've
be
got to
in
end
it.
this. I've got to end it. Guys, stop. One of you, you're going to have to message one of these guys on X. See you later. Take care. Much love. And as
Bye.
always, come on, you Spurs.